Welcome to Scream Queens Road Trip Podcast.
Ah!
Hey, Final Girl Justine.
Hey, Soul Survivor, Mr. Josh, to the left, driving these wheels.
We are currently driving our little sound booth down to Talamina. We're doing a fall foliage drive.
We are taking in the foliage.
We are taking in all the breathtaking wonders that God has given us this autumn.
Yes, we have a very beautiful area in Areola in southeastern Oklahoma. We've previously been to this area. It's where our cabin is, but they have a gorgeous mountainous terrain for you to see fall foliage.
Yeah, we're a little north of our cabin, just
Yeah.
slightly, but we're still kind of in the mountains. First we'll enter a town called Talahina, and then from there...
Talahina!
Justine's working on her second jingle. If you listen to the last episode, you heard her first jingle.
I feel like in this time right now in the pandemic, we're all trying to find like our side hustle jingles.
She's become a jinglist.
I'm a jinglist. A jingle jangle on the side, guys. Talahina!
And from Talahina...
And I'm twerking too, so it's like also a dance. It could be a dance single.
Very tribal.
Yeah,
like
maybe,
of your
perhaps.
people?
Yeah, of my people.
Yes.
I don't know.
Anyways, from Talahina,
But
we will drive to Talamina. It's the Talamina scenic route. Kind of takes you into the mountains. When I say mountains, these aren't the Rockies or the Appalachians.
No, because the Rockies are the Rockies and the Appalachians are the Appalachians. And these little minas are the Talaminas.
Yes.
And so we're driving that way and we're taking a scenic tour because the movie we're covering is on the road.
It's 1986's The Hitcher.
Hitcher.
And guys, just for fun, I want to introduce you to Tommy. He's the hitchhiker we just picked up. And
Hey, I'm Tommy. I'm the Hitcher.
and he's going to be with us on this trip. He promised he wouldn't harm us. He does have, you have a shiv on you, right? Because for protection, right?
Well, I'm just out, catching rides along the 270 junction and found you guys.
So, Tommy Schlong, that's your name, right?
Tommy Longschlong.
He'll be with us on the drive throughout.
Yes.
He's sitting in the back. He said he'll be quiet so we could do
I'm not going to interrupt.
podcast.
I am really excited to be here, guys. Thanks so much for having me and picking me up, and I'm not going to murder you at the end, I promise.
And you really love fall foliage, right?
Yes.
Foliage.
Yes, foliage, it's amazing. You can hide bodies under it.
So, yeah. Anyways.
Wow, Tommy.
We're idiots. Anyways, Tommy, we'll talk to you later. We're proceeding on with our show. If anyone's still listening.
Holy shit. That made me cry with laughter. Okay, all right.
Tommy, you're hilarious.
Tommy, just stay in the back, stay quiet, okay? You don't have anything to say, plus you didn't watch the movie.
So, keep your opinions to yourself, please, Tommy.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, so Rutger Hauer plays our main driller killer.
Thriller killer. No, this isn't the driller killer.
This isn't that movie. But he's going to play the Hitcher.
He is the titular character.
He is the
The titular.
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 Like, does he chew up tits?
It would sound that way, but it just means he's the title character.
Oh, he's the title character, not a
titular.
tit chewer. Okay.
Titular.
And previously he'd been in Blade Runner, and he was just like in that movie, he was just on blades and he was just running.
He is a Blade Runner. No, he's incredible in Blade Runner.
Yes.
He's really scary. He honestly should have been nominated for an Oscar for Blade Runner, if you ask me.
I mean, if anyone wants our opinion.
If the Academy
1986.
If the Academy from the 1980s wants to my opinion, That's
Just
it.
write us, okay?
Let us
Call
know.
us, write us, wake us up in the middle of the night. Let us know. Okay, so then also see Thomas Howell. He's going to be playing our sweet little daddy who drives from Chicago to San Diego.
Yeah, he's taking a car to a customer.
Yeah, he's got a drive away, all right?
He's got a drive away.
I'm in a drive away.
He says it like everyone knows what that is.
Yeah, and I'm like, I have no idea.
And there's
what that
one
is.
line that he delivers later where he's like, "It's a drive away."
Oh yes, no, we'll get into that.
I was driving it away, like.
That I'm like, okay, that was a choice. Got it.
But yeah, he would have been in what movies in this
The
era?
Outsiders and E.T.
Who's he in E.T.? I don't remember. He would have to be like.
He's that friend that like cups E.T.'s balls.
He's the ball cupper friend.
He's the ball cupper.
But the thing about that movie is E.T. looks like a testicle.
A
really cute, adorable, friendly testicle.
with eyeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little testicle with a root as well, like a shaft or something.
Well,
strange.
A lot of times testicles have a shaft.
Yeah. Well, it's just one ball on top, and his stomach's kind of a ball, and the shaft's in the middle. And
Well, the balls are like his eyes. Like the sack, that's his face.
sack. Wow.
Anyways.
How did we go
How did we get here? We always get here somehow.
E.T. looks like a ball.
And moving on, Jennifer Jason Leigh is also in this movie.
Yes.
She's an incredible actress.
She's previously had been in Fast Times at Ridgemont High School.
I love Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I love Jennifer Jason Leigh. She's been great in a lot of movies.
A lot.
Particularly some Robert Altman films like Shortcuts
A lot.
and Kansas City, and she was amazing.
A lot.
And Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight.
A lot.
A lot.
She's been in a lot.
She's been in a lot. She's done a
Gosh,
lot.
Tommy, we already said this isn't your show.
Tommy, I know you love Jennifer Jason Leigh. You have a tattoo of her on your arm.
He does. On his I was supposed to say on his stomach.
Oh, he has two?
Yes.
Oh, you are a fan, Tommy.
You are a huge fan. The one in his arm is like more, it looks like maybe a headshot of hers, but the one on the stomach, I don't know. It looks a little hand-drawn to me.
Maybe he did it himself. Tommy, did you do that yourself?
Passing those days in McAllister, just
Yeah, we passed McAllister State Prison. That's where we got him. What's funny, there's all these signs everywhere saying don't pick up hitchhikers. They could be escaped prisoners, but we were like, no,
No,
Tommy.
let's take our chances.
Not Tommy.
No, I mean, Tommy did say he wasn't escaped
Yeah.
inmate, but
We don't judge.
I feel like there's room for interpretation when it comes to those heinous crimes that he, was previously sent to McAllister State Prison for.
Anyways.
Tommy, shut the fuck up. Oh, okay. It's directed by Robert Harmon.
Robert Harmon.
His long breadth of work. He's pretty established. The Hitcher was his debut.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on, he made almost absolutely nothing until 2002.
He did They.
Yes, they did They.
They did
They. It's a movie about. It's a horror movie.
It's a horror
obviously.
movie.
Yeah, and it's about they.
About they. It's about he.
No, it's about
She.
they.
No.
It's not about
Is it-
he or she.
Are you trying to say it's about pronouns?
It's about they.
It's about they.
No, it's only about they. It's not about pronouns in general because it's not about their.
Yeah, it's just they.
They.
That's right.
And then, 2 years later, he made another Hitcher movie, Highwayman. So, and it's not a Hitcher movie though. It's just again, he made a movie about an insane, murderous person who abducts people on the highway.
And I'm surprised he didn't make more in between the Hitcher and they. I think he had worked on Crude and other positions in Hollywood, right?
Positions?
Different positions. His favorite is missionary, but I mean, I think he was a producer and stuff, right?
Okay.
Or am I just pulling that out of my ass?
I think it wouldn't be
I feel like he
that difficult to Yeah, everybody's a producer.
Well, I was about to say, I know there's more credits on his IMDb
His debut.
than just.
What we're
three.
listing off right now
Yeah.
because at the time I didn't think it was that important, and now I'm like,
Right.
damn it, we're having a conversation about his
what
other
else?
like. Okay, so I was like looking up other little trivias to see like how come like Rutger Hauer even got that job, like. Who else was up for the character?
Who
John
else
Ryder.
was? Tell us.
Sam Elliott, and
Oh, he's
immediately I'm
great.
like, yeah, that would have been pretty fitting.
It'd been very like it would made this movie feel even more like a western.
Yes, because it does take place like in Texas.
It says El Paso.
I don't
but-
get that either because El Paso's way south. That's not the route you would take.
And it also doesn't look anything like Texas.
No,
I've
it
never
looks like the
been
Mojave.
to El Paso, yeah, but it looks exactly like the Death Valley and the Mojave. And if you look up the locations, it was all filmed in the deserts in California.
So
but-
it's kind of rude.
But you still definitely this movie is like a mixture of like horror and western, and he's kind of like a phantom, but
Yeah,
like,
this weird outlaw.
also like this weird outlaw that sweeps through the town.
Mm-hmm. And by sweeps, we mean he brings a broom
But he's
and
kind
he
of
cleans up roadside areas with his broom.
yeah, and he could also be yes, he loves his broom. He rides it sometimes. He also kind of represents, like the Grim Reaper. Like,
Yes.
he's just like this death figure that comes and just wreaks havoc.
Yeah, to me, he comes off like an urban legend kind of character.
There's no way to escape him.
Yeah, and that I know that there is an urban legend about a hitchhiker, but it's like that person disappears and supposedly it died years ago. But like, I don't know, he's kind of this weird, grim fairy tale, like, ugh.
Yeah, it's dark.
It's,
This movie has some very dark moments.
And there's lessons learned during it. Like the character that C. Thomas Howell plays, like has a huge amount of growth that happens
There
from
were
the
lessons learned.
He's like a boy, this naive boy starts out,
Yeah.
wanting to pick up somebody because he's fallen asleep and needs like just
Help.
somebody to chat with.
And then, Justine, he becomes a man.
And then he becomes a man because he gets his balls.
His balls drop.
Yep. We'll get into that though.
The show's
okay.
already very ball heavy.
Ball heavy.
Heavy
Yeah.
balls.
There's testicle playing going on probably every 90 seconds. It's a little tossing here, tossing there. Okay, so Sam Elliott, yeah, for sure. But Josh, also your favorite actor of all time.
God.
When I think of like him, it's for sure your favorite actor, Michael Ironside.
Oh my god. He would have been a great villain because he
Yes.
isn't nice. No, I just encountered him one time working in Los Angeles, and he wasn't nice to me. And I was working in a service position, and he yelled at me about a cheesecake.
A cheesecake. So think about it, guys. Michael Ironside got his panties in a twist over cheesecake.
He had ordered a cheesecake. I worked weirdly, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Greenblatt's in LA.
R.I.P.
Wine shop, yeah, R.I.P. They also had a gourmet deli. I worked in the wine shop. He came into the wine shop, won his cheesecake from the deli. I tried to help him, tried to find it. Guess I couldn't find it fast enough. And he yelled at me and told me I didn't get his cheesecake fast enough.
Oh my God, the road fart.
The road is
road's
farting on us,
no,
guys.
Sorry, a trash panda sadly was
Tom!
taken-
Or Tim. What's your name again?
Tommy.
Tommy! Farting back there.
Little trash panda back here. Okay. Emilio Estevez was. He could have been Jim.
That could have worked.
That would have worked, I thought. I was
feel
like, Michael Ironside would have been great. Sam Elliott would have been great. Emilio Estevez, yes.
I
see
feel like
it.
C. Thomas Howell was maybe the better choice. He comes off a little bit more naive, a little bit more vulnerable than I think Emilio Estevez
Little
would have.
doe-eyed.
Yeah.
Little cute little butt running up them little highways and byways. And,
She loves cute butts on highways and byways.
and then previously, Jennifer Jason Leigh and Rutger had worked on a film, and so she wanted the chance to work with him again.
She's like, I just love
So,
him.
That's how she got the role.
She's like, let's do this movie together.
Hi, I would love it if I could work with you again, and like in a real sadistic way. Like, I don't know, I feel like I want my stomach to like be torn in half, or
You want
like
to stretch me? You want to pull me apart?
I think like
Rutger.
tug of war, where like my
Rutger.
intestines. Yeah?
Yeah, Rucker.
Actually, Jennifer Jason Leigh doesn't sound like that at all. She sounds... Okay, so she's like from like Los Angeles.
Her dad was Vic Morrow, who's a famous actor in the 60s and 70s. He died in that tragic Twilight Zone movie helicopter accident.
Oops.
Beheaded by a helicopter.
Oops. But her accent intrigues me because she's like Los Angeles. So why does she have that?
Well, because she's supposed to be playing Texan, remember?
But she kind of like sounds like that in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. She kind of has that
vibe.
That, I don't know, like real late out here. I don't know. Got like little twang in her, even though she's not from the area. Okay, so getting into the movie itself, I do love when the little horsey puppy comes running because it's TriStar.
Yes.
It's like all kinds of nostalgia for me. I'm like, here it comes, TriStar Pictures, little horse logo, little rainbow.
Then we jump immediately to sorry, not you, Tommy, back there.
Tommy, Jim Halsey,
To Jim.
heading to California, and he's in a car.
And it's nighttime, and
Yeah.
he's already, we see him kind of yawning and getting sleepies, and then it's raining out, and it's pouring.
It's the old man snoring.
It's for the desert, it is coming down.
I mean, I was like, that's the record breaker night right there. They got all the rain in one evening for the whole year.
It's probably true. But, so along the way, this is within the first few minutes, he pulls over.
He pulls over and
picks up a hitchhiker.
Yep, and he even says, when he rolls down the window, he's like, my mom told me never to do this.
And Rutger Hauer gets in.
And no, he says, my mama told me never to do this, and then he just drove off, and that was the end of the movie.
Yeah, he's like, so bye.
So, see ya! And like flipped him off, and that was it. So it's actually, guys, thanks for joining us. It's a really small,
yeah, we'll be right back.
short
and
podcast.
We'll tell you our knife ratings.
And then, we'll give you the knife ratings, and see ya, bye! No. He lets in the Hitcher.
And this, he sealed his fate right in that moment when he went against his mother's wishes.
Creepy John Ryder comes getting in the
car.
car.
And at first he acts like he's being polite because he says things like, I'm getting your seats all wet. And C. Thomas Howell's like, yeah, that's what she said. And...
Fuck you! That's hilarious.
And... he's just talking him up, kind of acting like a nice guy at first.
Yeah. He had a cigarette, but...
Then things start going weird. It starts with a stare. He's just
Jim's
staring
like,
at Jim.
where am I taking you? And he's like cryptic.
And he kind of just tells him, like, nowhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what do you mean you're not going anywhere? Well, and then he gives an excuse, and then he's like, oh, so you are going somewhere. And it just keeps getting further and further into like a situation he can't get out of.
It's uneasy, like your skin starts to crawl because you're like, okay, wow, we're kind of trapped in the car.
And he immediately tries to do something, but he pulls over and he's like, yeah, maybe, I think you need to get out.
Hold on, not yet. There's a car off to the side of the road, and he's about to pull over and see if somebody else needs help.
That's right.
And what's his name? John Ryder pushes his leg to like keep him going. And so he kind of like picks up after that, like I'm unsafe. I was just about to like go help somebody else, and he's acting creepy, and then he
wouldn't let
pushes
me stop.
wouldn't let him stop, and then he's all talking about like, oh, that was my car, and I need gas.
And that's when he says, oh, so you do need to go to a gas station. Mm-hmm. That's where you need to go.
Yeah. It's like right then and there, you're like, that's creepy. Why is he touching him? Why is he like making him speed off?
Yeah, why'd you force my foot down on the accelerator instead of...
That's weird. Why didn't you just say like, oh, that's my car, that's why I was hitchhiking, because I need gas. It's strange. And then he's like, they got cigarettes at the gas station. He's like, yeah, they have gas at the gas station. And then he says, I don't need gas.
And he's like,
and then it goes bad.
Real bad.
Yeah.
A knife gets pulled.
Mm-hmm.
First he tells them that the people in... Oh, do they...
He pulls a knife on him and he says, we
tells
don't need to
him
go
about
back
that
there
car.
because that
Yeah.
guy is dead.
Yeah,
I've
I
cut him
cut-
up into pieces. I'm going to do the same to you.
Yeah, he tells him I cut his arms, head, and legs off. I'm going to do the
So-
same to you. And he pulls out a switchblade, and he's, like, playing with it on his face.
And it's, like,
Not
bloody.
Yeah.
Like, it's got blood on it.
And he's not cutting C. Thomas Howell yet. He's just caressing his face with the knives,
Mhm.
telling him, like, I'm going to kill you. I want to hear you say I want to die.
Took his wiener out, and he started kind of caressing
his
him.
face. And he says, I want to hear you say I want to die. And C. Thomas Howell knows what that means. He's like, well, you know, I would too. I would be like, no, because as soon as I say that, you're going to kill me. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying, like, no, I can't. I'm not saying that. Not gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
Never gonna happen.
Woo,
Never
woo, woo,
gonna
woo.
happen. Woo, woo. Yeah. So he's got his knife out and he's saying that. I mean, I was gonna bring up, like, right before that they go through a construction zone and he intimidates him into, like, not telling him, like, what had
that's
happened.
right. They have to stop.
Just kind of building
for,
up all this suspense and stuff that's happening where he wants to tell this construction zone worker, like, this guy's a maniac.
Mhm.
But the Rutger Hauer character is trying to make it come off like they're
A
a
couple.
sweetheart couple. And he's, like, grabbing him by the junk and stuff and, like, pulls out. That's why I was pulling out wiener.
Yeah, the
and-
construction guy's like, all right, you sweethearts, get out of here.
Yep, and so it's like, damn it. Now they're going to go deeper into the desert in the highway, and then he tells them, like, okay, like, I've got this knife to your face, and I want you to tell me that you want to die. And Jim is like, I don't want to say it, but he's also paying attention to his dashboard, and his dashboard says that the door next to Ryder is
Ajar. Door, passenger seat's ajar.
So he kind of just builds up that gusto to like in the moment when he's like, say it, I want you to say I want to die.
He
then
goes, I don't want to die! And he
And he-
pushes him out the door.
boom, we see John Ryder, like, rolling on the ground, and I do the same reaction that Jim Halsey has,
He
which
just
is like, woo!
Yeah, he's so excited and like, holy shit, I did it!
I saved
I'm
my
alive!
own life.
Yeah.
He's like honking the horn, celebrating and driving off,
And you get this shot of John Ryder's getting up off the ground, just looking at him.
Mhm.
And it kind of dollies into him, and the look on his face, you're like, oh, he's gonna get him. He's out
Yeah.
for revenge. This isn't over yet.
Never mind, because this is just the first 15 minutes of the movie.
But you do kind of get this false sense of security because it cuts to the next day, and it's like a bright, sunny day, and C. Thomas Howell's driving down the highway just smiling.
Mhm.
You know, he feels safe now.
He can't believe that thing has happened.
But that happened.
Yep.
It's behind him now. Until a family, little station wagon pulling like a boat drives by.
And they've been interacting with him, and he's been smiling and waving.
There's kids in the back
and
waving
winking at him, and like
shooting
just
a little like
giving
BB
thumbs
gun
up,
at him.
and it's cute. And then we see this like floating teddy bear, and Jim's looking because they're now in front of him. The kids are like looking in the back and waving to him, and there's a floating teddy bear,
This
and then
little teddy bear.
that disappear or like it gets pulled to the side, and we see it's John
John.
Ryder.
In the back of the station wagon with the children. And at first I was wondering, like, do the parents know he's back there? But then you're like, well, obviously.
Yeah.
So they picked him up. C. Thomas Howell tries to warn them. He drives up beside them, starts honking, saying, the guy in the back's a maniac.
Yeah.
I that's very valiant of him. I don't know if I would have done the same. I would be like, all right, I'm keeping back. You guys
Yeah.
keep driving ahead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
I'll watch out for you.
You guys are gonna get out of sight, and I'm gonna turn around and go the opposite direction. You know,
Mhm.
I would like to think maybe I would try to play hero, but in that moment, I would be trying to save myself. I think.
Or like hope that you could get the license plate. Now it's almost like when you know, okay, he's either trying to coax me into getting involved. Like, those people are probably doomed, but if I took the license plate number, the next roadside, like, I could get off, I could
find
call
a payphone. This is the
police.
80s, so
Yeah, I could get a payphone, call the police, tell them that a hitchhiker nearly got me. I just saw him in the car. This license plate number. Please be on the lookout, because at least if the worst happens and the police come upon that car, they'll know that there was an incident reported and that there's a hitchhiker who's dangerous, and they can start putting patrols out. Sorry guys, I thought long and hard about this because what now happens for the next 95 minutes
It's terrifying.
is fucking terrible.
And we do a lot of driving.
Yes. And so being in that, not having been in that situation, but constantly being in this situation of we drive long distances. We see hitchhikers.
We stop at isolated truck stops.
Yeah.
But we always try to play it cool. We always stay together. We go to the bathroom together. I mean, not in the same, I use the men's, she uses the women.
He holds my boobs while I go to the bathroom because they droop down so low into the toilet.
She holds my hair back.
Yes, it's important. We're a team, okay?
But yeah, we try to keep track of each other on our trips just because of
we even check in really quick and make jokes to each other if you've been in the bathroom too long. Everything okay in there? But you are kind of worried, no, really, is everything okay in there?
Yeah. Are you still in there?
There's truckers, there's lot lizards, there's,
sex traffickers.
Yeah, that's, sorry, not nice, because they're sex workers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see, where are we at now? Okay, so yeah, he's revealed I'm in the car, and so yeah, he does try to act like a white knight and zoom up and is hey, there's a nut job, but so he tries to go around the car and ends up almost getting hit by a van that's going the opposite direction, so he gets run off the road. So that
and then that guy gets out, is hey man, and then C. Thomas Howell's I'm sorry, I'm in a hurry. I don't have time to talk to you about our accident.
Our interaction. Yeah, my car, I don't even care. I've got to try to get to that family. And then later up the road, he sees the station wagon, and it's stopped so it's kind of a little bit over the line into the road, but most of it is off the road. So it looks like something terrible happened.
Yeah, and he knows it.
Yeah.
And he pulls over anyways, and he gets out, opens the door, and there's just blood. It doesn't show them on the inside. You just see blood dripping out, and he goes and vomits.
And that happens in this movie. It's not as overtly gory. What's funny is Siskel and Ebert hated this movie, gave it 0 stars, said it was ultra violent, but yet when you watch it, the only real injuries that you see are to Rutger Hauer and
that's
to
true.
Jim Halsey.
Everything else is pretty much implied, and the things that are implied are gruesome as fuck.
Yes, absolutely so.
And it does play with you psychologically that way, but it's really not that gory.
No, and not there's not a lot of blood. He just steps in it. There's the insinuate, like you said, we know that whole family has been brutally murdered in that vehicle, and he probably could see it, could see the dead bodies, but we don't see it. And he goes and does his little barf up and then drives off, to try to find help.
And he stops at a gas station.
Yes, he hits up, it's a garage gas station service area
in there,
and it's run down, or it's closed at least. There's nobody working it, and Ryder finds him in the garage of the service station, and he just throws his keys at him. He plays these weird psychological games with
he
Jim
really wants
through
to
the
mess
movie.
with him now.
And it's okay, right there, they were in a abandoned or at least closed area. Nobody was going to be coming. He could have killed him right then and there, but he didn't. He took the keys out of his car to show that hey Jim, you just left your car wide open for me.
And almost I can do anything.
To
you think you bested me before, just why don't you wait and see what I can do to you?
And so he throws his keys at him, and then he walks away, and we see him get into the passenger side of a truck, and Jim's no, because he's been picked up, in the 80s, people just loved to pick up hitchhikers, I guess. It was really easy to cross-country hitchhike.
In the 60s and 70s especially, it was a big thing people did. I think by the 80s, that's why we're getting horror movies about it, because it was starting to become the horror stories of the newspapers, things
Yeah,
that people were reading about, things that were happening to hitchhikers.
And it's satanic panic in the 80s, and we've already had the Manson family, and by then the trial had happened, so it's like, yeah, sure, we got reason to not trust people that are just on the side of the road.
Right.
So we get him driving off. He's collected a new victim, and Jim gets in his car, and he is driving, and we see he's like getting himself some water, and his car gets hit, and it's Ryder in the driver's seat of that truck that we saw him previously get in. So he's obviously had
killed the guy.
Another victim. Right now he's got like 1, 2, 3. He's already killed like 6 people.
And again, we haven't really seen any of it. So, Ebert, and Siskel, I love watching your reviews and reading your stuff, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
on this,
like,
on that account of it being ultra violent.
Ultra violent to the point that you guys just flat out didn't. Well, they're both not here anymore, but
I mean, there were already movies in the 80s like Maniac and stuff
Yeah.
that were way more violent than this.
Interesting that they chose this to be like what they went after.
They went through an era in the 80s where they really did rally against horror, because there were times where Ebert was championing things like Last House on the Left. He was one of the critics that actually really gave it a good review, hyped it up.
Talked about that it was like a note about war and a reaction.
Had cultural importance and whatnot, but sometimes they could miss the mark. You know how they came down on Blue Velvet at the time, or Ebert did. And
just went on a weird censoring
they had
adventure.
a hard time. And I get it, but they have a hard time with any kind of violence towards women in films. They seem to think it's all misogynist.
Yeah.
And that there's no merit maybe in the
showing
storytelling.
It, like it glorifies it to even put it in there.
But I don't think so. I don't think that's the point of these movies.
I think sometimes we have to see things to even be able to relate to them a little bit.
Because they're kind of missing the point, too, that the heroes of these movies are oftentimes women. One of the kind of cool things about this movie is we get a final boy. We get our sole survivor.
Yes, yeah.
It's
but
not a final girl in this movie.
It's not a final girl, but we do have a girl who brings a lot of... she sees the truth when other people just see what the narrative's been written for. Okay, we'll get into it. So Jim's getting attacked by Ryder. He's in that truck, and he's trying to run him off the road and just kind of play with him, because then he drives off, and it's again this cat and mouse thing. And then we get that he meets him up at another gas station, and he surprises him. He nearly runs him over.
Oh, is this the finger?
This is where the gas station blows up. He's covered in gasoline, and that's why he goes to the restaurant diner where he meets
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
So he's covered in gasoline, and he wants to get into this restaurant because he's now just been almost run over by Rutger Hauer's character, Ryder. And Jennifer Jason Leigh is opening up this little restaurant diner, like roadside diner. And at first she doesn't want to let him in because her uncle has told her before, like don't let in weirdos.
And she's like, we're not open yet. So I know. But he persuades her. He's like, I need help. Look at me. I need to come in.
I'm covered in gas. And she notes that because she's like, you stink. Or, like, has something happened? He's like, yeah, obviously. I don't know. He's a little one-track mind, so he's not necessarily kind to her.
But she's kind to him, and she's like, I'll make you some food. And she's like, that's the only thing I know how to make is this burger and fries. So.
She can overhear him talking because he does go and make a call to the police. And what's funny is he doesn't even really have to, like, tell the police what he's calling for. They quickly know who they know who he is, or they know he's involved in it, and so he tells them this is where I am at, and goes and gets himself cleaned up while he's waiting, and she does make him a cheeseburger. That's so nice of her. French fries, and he's eating it.
He's sitting there eating it, and he's enjoying it. He's eating
Lost
fry after fry, and he picks up a particularly plump looking fry.
Plump fry that for me would have texturally just not seemed
like
the same fry that I had just had in my hand.
But like you said, he's lost in thought.
He's lost in his thoughts. He's been some traumatic stuff has happened in the last 25 minutes / 2 days of his life.
It's been a couple days. And so he looks down, and it's not a fry. It's a fucking finger.
It's a bloody fucking finger, and a real one, like it belonged to somebody previously,
Yeah,
and it doesn't anymore.
Yeah, one of the victims, obviously, of the last couple days.
So he knows that Ryder's there.
Yeah.
Ryder is actually there at the restaurant.
And it's like, how did he slip that into that burger basket? That's what I want to know. He's like, here, pull my finger.
Pull my finger.
Smell my
He's
finger.
like your classic uncle at Thanksgiving.
He just took it a step too far. He's like, I just chopped it off and put it in your food, so you pull my finger.
It's my new pull my finger joke. It doesn't have anything to do about farts.
He's like, if you want, you can smell it.
Gross. That's a different kind of... You're nasty today. Ew.
Smell my finger.
Smell my finger. Does it smell a little like pussy?
Anyway.
Tommy, shut up.
Tommy.
Every once in a while, he's like popping in.
You're so gross, Tommy.
If you don't stop, Tommy, we're going to drop you off in Aldridge, Oklahoma.
You don't want to be dropped off in Aldridge.
No.
Let me tell you.
Nothing against anybody who lives here in Aldridge, Oklahoma. I just don't think if you don't know where you are that this is where you want to end up.
And I don't know where we are.
And he doesn't have a cell phone, okay? Tommy, we just picked him up from the side of the road, and he's an escaped inmate from McAllister.
And he's going along with us for our episode, The Hitchhiker.
We're going to Talamina, Talahina!
Talamina, Talahina.
I need to stop screaming. Okay. Okay, so Jim... Okay, we hear the sirens, and the police show up, and they apprehend him. They immediately think that he's the one that, in fact, has been murdering everybody. They find on his person a bloody knife, and then I guess they're going to find the finger.
Did he eat it?
I don't know. He did not eat it. No. No.
He could have hid it in his rectum.
And he can't find his ID either. So they're like digging in his pants.
He's like, what's his name? He had to have stolen it. And they're like, oh, you steal your registration too? I bet.
Oh, really?
Well, if it's not there, I guess he did.
And we get this interrogation scene at the police station. And these are like, they're playing really stereotypical, like, Texas cops that,
don't play by the rules.
Shoot first, ask later kind of attitude. They, like, don't believe him automatically, even though he's like saying things like, do I even look like a killer? Do I look like, and we know also in the 80s that Dahmer probably didn't look like a killer, and there's other people that didn't, but it takes a real something to do some of those murders. And he was just trying to say, do I look like somebody, my clothing isn't even covered in blood, like, do I look like somebody who's been murdering everybody? But they also can't get a hold of anyone to verify a story. So he said, he's told them, because they're all questioning him in his car, like, excuse me, you're not even allowed to have a fancy car because you're like young, so young people can't have fancy cars.
He's like,
so why do you have such a fancy car?
It's a drive away.
Yeah. Like I said,
it's a drive
away.
And you see, Thomas Howell's a good actor, but there's something about, I'm trying to figure out what he's doing in his performance right in this moment. It's really dry. Like, is he bored with the cops?
I was thinking maybe that we're seeing this scene for the first time, but they had asked him multiple times, and so they're trying to get a different story out of him, but he's been having to repeat it. Right. So that's what I took from it. And that's why he's acting a little too.
It's a drive away.
It's not. But then they can't reach anybody. They try to call his brother. They try to call the drive away people to just verify his story, and they can't. So they're like, okay, well, we have FBI from Austin, the capital of Texas, coming to question you tomorrow, so you're gonna stay overnight.
He's like, damn it.
But he's like super exhausted because he's gone through a lot of trauma, so he does like sleep through the whole night, which isn't good.
He's like, can I take a little jail nap, a little nappy nap?
I'm just gonna sleep right here, okay? It's not gonna be long. Like, I'm just gonna close my eyes for like 30 minutes, okay? Not a long time, not at all. That's what he says. And he rolls up his little jacket and he just like tucks himself in. And he wakes up the next day.
He's like, damn it, that was the best nap ever. Yeah, he gets up and he's like, my jail cell's open. I'm going to push it open. And he's walking around.
He sees like this canine dog just walking around as well.
So he follows him, and then he turns, and that canine is licking like the blood off of this
police officer's
neck. just lapping it all up.
Yeah, I get maybe just trying to be like, you okay, sir? You're my friend, but you're like not moving for a long time. But yeah, so
no, Justine.
Jim sees.
There's a sequel to this movie. It's about the vampire canine.
Oh,
dog.
it's about that
it's
dog.
It's because the dog's a vampire.
So the Hitcher turns into a franchise about vampire canine dogs?
Well, we find out it really wasn't the Hitcher.
Oh, it wasn't the Hitcher that did any of
that?
It was
the
that dog?
canine vampire.
So he just assumed. Jim Halsey assumed that.
And what does assuming do? It makes an ass
out of that dog
and me.
And about dog. Me? Oh,
you.
Shit.
And the dog.
Damn. Fuck. Okay. So even in this movie, someone gets blamed double for murders that like trouble. aren't theirs.
But you know what? That movie was actually never made, so we can just go with what they tell us in this one.
That's not true. Okay, so you just told me about all that, and then you told me it wasn't made?
Well, I've read the screenplay. There's a screenplay sequel.
Screenplay. Okay,
and it just was never produced.
It was never put into production.
It's fucking brilliant.
I agree, because it had me full. Okay, so...
Tommy wants to see it back there. He's shaking his head.
He's totally in for it. Okay, so Jim is like, oh, holy shit, everybody here is dead. And then we hear pew, 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 because the, FBI cops are showing up in just the right time to catch him not murdering, but he's going to be blamed for it. And so he just doesn't really know what to do.
You know what he should have done? He should have just stepped himself back into his cell, locked it, gone back to sleep, and then when the other police arrived, been like, what the fuck happened? I was in here the whole time.
I've been in here the entire time. I didn't know anybody was dead.
Because apparently there wasn't any kind of security system or camera system.
Yeah, to document that.
Yeah, no CCTV. So he could have just locked himself back in and been like, I don't know what happened.
And then again, the movie would have been over.
The movie
this
was
it.
Over.
Like,
yeah. No, with a Forrest Ryder, John Ryder, to come back to the cell, be like, dude, you were supposed to have left. I left the door open for you.
Why did you lock yourself back in?
I'm trying to frame you.
This sets me up to fail, dude. So he runs out into the mountain area and goes to hide from the FBI people.
Because they're there right away.
Yeah, they showed up. They
have been tipped off.
And he sees another gas station, and he
also
has a gun. He got a gun while he was at the police station. He took one from one of the police officers before he ran out the back door and gets. Well, of course, there's a lot of gas stations, Josh. This is a road trip movie.
Well, I was about to say though, one thing this movie really does is it makes me feel at ease if I ever need to road trip through the desolate desert. That no matter what, that's not desolate. That every probably 10 miles there's a new gas station.
Well, that's nice. Yeah,
that's really nice to know.
One time we did a road trip driving through Kansas. Josh and I did, and we were right in the middle of doing the actual podcast.
Oh, it was our Return to Oz episode. No, it was our Wizard of Oz episode. If you guys go back to listen to that.
You look down, and we're nearly done. We probably had about 20 minutes of the first part to do, and you looked down and you saw that we had 30 miles to the gas.
Well, it was actually, I think we had just finished, right? We had just finished the podcast when I noticed. And I think that's why I noticed, because we were so into the podcast. And I looked down, we had about, I think 27 miles until we were out of gas. And we didn't know where there was a gas.
And it was scary. And it was one of those areas of Kansas where it's nothing but pastures and gas station signs say 30 miles away. We're what
we were down to 9 miles before we finally found a gas station.
And luckily it was my car, and it told us literally how many miles we had. Woo!
It was frightening.
That was one of those moments where we were we're never again going below a quarter of a tank.
We live and we learn.
Never say never. Okay, so he's off, found another gas station, and
he's gonna go in and sit down and rest his weary head.
He's like, I'm just gonna go in here and get myself a little cup of coffee and hopefully forget all this will be just a bad dream. But no, he gets apprehended by police officers. He gets into the car with them.
But doesn't Ryder show up at this? He's sitting there and he looks up and Ryder's sitting there.
No, that's not yet. I've got
Is
that
that
written down.
another
Yes, another
gas
gas
station?
Yeah, but like, that's nothing.
Okay.
That's the thing about this movie. It's nothing but diners and gas stations. Like if they
Highways,
stop off,
byways.
or a truck stop. So that's where we're at. But at this gas station, he was trying to call for help at the payphone. The cops show up. They put him in the back. He gets their gun and then tells them that he wants to talk on the radio
Yes.
to Captain Estridge
And
so
they're
he can
kinda-
tell him that, like, I've been framed, I've all been set up. And they believe him. Like, the two cops that are in the car kind of believe him. And then Captain Estridge at least says, like, well, if you'll come in with these cops, then we'll protect you and you can further tell us your story.
Yeah, and I'm not sure so much they believe him as they're just using good police tactics,
Right,
of keeping
yeah.
him calm, being like, "Yeah, we'll help you. Tell us what you want."
Mhm.
And blah blah blah.
But you got to come in. And so they
Yeah.
convinced him to do just
And
that.
he's like, "Fine, we're heading your way." Like he says that, like very like, "Okay, we're coming your way."
And then
And
Ryder
Pop pop pop.
drives up alongside and shoots all of the two cops that are in the front seat. That car, the patrol car, like, crashes, and Jim's like crawling out, and he's all crying because he's like, no, I'm never gonna make it. And he's got this like gun, and he thinks he's gonna kill himself, but he doesn't. And then he just keeps walking.
Goes to another diner.
He gets himself a cup of coffee, and that's where Ryder walks in and
Sits
taunts
in
him
the
again.
booth right with him, licks some pennies, sticks them on his eyes, tell him he's
You're my special boy.
yeah.
You're my real special boy. I'm gonna play with you. I'm gonna play with your balls.
It's very homoerotic.
It does. He's licking him. He's telling him, I'm never gonna quit you.
And he kind of gives him this weird sympathetic look at one point. It's a really good performance by Rutger Hauer because he's all kinds of evil. But he even knows how to make like this sympathetic, like, oh, your little puppy dog.
Yeah,
Look."
you really believe that this is gonna
Oh,
turn
like,
out the...
It's so eerie and terrifying.
Yeah. In a way, it kind of reminds me of like Michael Myers after he pins the guy on the door and he
And
kind of
looks
tilts
at
his
him.
head. Just that like, that like curiousness,
Mhm.
but you're not innocent.
But you get like a weird flicker, like a second of humanity in that moment,
Yeah.
which rounds out Rutger Hauer's performance. But he is still like just this brutal killing machine. But you get
Yeah.
this 1 millisecond where he's kind of like, oh, I'm fucking you up. dude."
You are having an emotional breakdown
Yeah.
right here. And he does that again at the truck stop scene. And we'll get there. That look again.
Yeah.
He gives that look one more time. Okay, so Ryder leaves. Like, he walks off. He scared him to death, basically, just sitting there in the booth, like taunting him, telling him, like, I've got you, basically, by the balls, man. I'm gonna scare you until I can't scare you anymore. And Jim he sees this bus pull up, and these people get off, and they're all getting refreshed, going to the bathroom, and he gets on. Like, he sneaks in,
Goes to the
gets to
bathroom
the
in the
bathroom to
back.
hide out, and then once the bus is moving, then he goes and sits in the back seat, and he sees Nash, the girl from the bar, or the girl from the restaurant that had made the nice cheeseburger for him.
And he's talking to her. He's like, "Do you believe me?" She's like, "I believe you. I don't know why, but I do."
Yeah, I kind of believe you.
You really enjoyed my burger I made you, and no criminal can enjoy a burger like that. It's kind of like the Princess and the Pea, except for it's a burger. And I make burgers for strange men that come in. And if they like it, then I know they're good and
They're
pure
a
at
good
heart.
man. That's right. That is like, you are so true.
Yeah.
Jim and Nash. And but kind of like right as he gets like from her that like, oh, you believe me, the police show up and they tell the bus to move up, like get over.
And they make Jim come out. Oh, they make him come out.
Ooh.
They make him get out of the bus. And they got their guns pointed, and they're threatening to kill him. Basically, you're getting the sense that they're just gonna pop him off. They're like, "You killed my friends."
And then they even set up the whole like, you spit on my hand or go wipe it away. Like, they're telling him to do something
To reach for his gun.
that would make it look like Jim is reaching for the gun so they would have probable cause to shoot him.
Yeah.
Like, he acted first.
He
so they're
reached
saying,
for my gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And Nash hears this. A lot of people on the bus probably can hear them try to set him up to be killed. And Nash shoots, like,
Her
she
gun.
gets her gun. She
She's like,
shoots.
coppers, you put your gun. And she knows these cops. It's such
Yes.
a small desert community that she's like, Bob and John, you put your guns down.
No, wait, sir. You're not going to do this. I see what you're trying to do. I'll spank you.
And they're like, Nash, you stay out of this, girl.
Woman, put your gun away. Put it down. But nope. So, because of that whole debacle, those two end
on
up
the
getting
run.
in a patrol car and they go on the run.
They end up at a little...
They're quickly
Truck
chased
stop
down.
hotel.
No, they're quickly chased down by multiple patrol cars. There's this big chase scene that happens with them and patrol cars and a helicopter.
Oh, they're shooting out. Yeah,
and
they're shooting...
all of
their
the
guns
cops
at the
are trying to
cops.
shoot the two of them.
And Nash doesn't want to shoot back at them for a
No,
while, but she
they're-
finally realizes, if I don't shoot back, we're going to die.
Yeah, they're calling on the little radio walkie in the patrol car, and they're saying, like, please, please, stop. We don't want to shoot. Like, we want to turn ourselves in.
Yeah.
Let us turn ourselves in.
But they have helicopters shooting at
Yeah,
them, police cars shooting at
But
them.
then John Ryder, he comes into play again, and he kills all of those cops. Like, runs them off the road, has the two car, like, Jim actually shoots one of the wheels of the cop car because it had been shooting at him, and he causes it to collide with another cop car. There's these big explosions, helicopter crashes.
All the money of the movie went into this scene.
Right
basically.
there. And then we have this moment where Ryder walks over to where the two of them are, but he again doesn't kill them, and that pisses Nash off because she's like, what's going on? Why won't he kill us? I don't even understand. And Jim's like, let's just go. Let's just
And
go.
so they go.
And they go, and they find themselves
At a
at a
truck
little
stop.
truck stop.
And they're like, let's have a little romantic getaway. Let's, order some takeaway.
I mean, this is obviously back at a time when you didn't have to show your ID
yeah, or
to
you
get a
just
room.
write a fake name down.
Yeah.
You can
And-
pay in cash. Now, all hotels, you pretty much have to put a card down.
Yeah. And you have to show your ID just to make sure you are who you are. But so they think they're a little safe, and they're just hanging out in the hotel or it's not a hotel, guys. It's like a little truck stop, like motel. And Nash, all she wants to do, is call home and just tell her parents that she's okay.
They're like, you can't do that right now.
But Jim gets in the shower,
And she does that right now.
that very thing. But thankfully she does, because they tell her that, like, those parents tell the cops where they are, and thankfully they do, because that's how this whole next scene gets all
Yeah,
set
now
up.
they're gonna end up capturing Ryder.
Yeah. So she's in the room, he's showering, she's now just laying there,
This is so
falling
creepy.
asleep, and then we get a shot of her. She is asleep, and Ryder is in the room watching her sleep.
He's just standing like in the shadows watching.
Crawls into bed with her and cuddles up next
her.
to
And
her.
she thinks it's Jim, and she's cuddling back. They're spooning,
And then she feels his hands, and they're very calloused, and there's like some kind of bandage wrapped around a finger, and she realizes that's not Jim. And then she's abducted by Ryder, and we don't see her for a little bit.
Jim comes out of the bathroom, and he immediately kind of knows something's wrong. He can't find her, and the cops are already there, right? Like, he goes running around looking
he's
for her.
walking through the lots of trucks and stuff,
looking
trying to call
around.
for her, screaming for Nash, and Captain Estridge finds him and is like, "It's us. Like,
We know you're
you need
you're
to come with
innocent."
us. We figured it out, but you need to come with us right now." And he's like, "What's going on?" Well, we find out what's going on. Ryder has tied Nash up to
two trucks.
to one truck, and then he's in the other truck, and he's got his foot on the gas, and the cops are telling Jim, like, hey, we can't shoot him, because if we shoot him and he takes his foot off the brake, then
She's
the
dead.
truck's gonna move, and she's gonna
Get pulled apart.
yes, like, it's this weird tug of war thing
It's
happening.
like he figured out how to turn this technology into like a medieval torture device.
Yeah. And basically, like, there's no real way she's going to survive this.
No.
And Jim figures it out when he gets up there
He's like,
because
"Let
they
me
tell
talk
him
to
to,
him."
yeah. So he climbs up and he's talking to Ryder, and Ryder is like, "Hey, there's a gun right there.
Shoot me.
Shoot me." And Jim doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to be responsible for Nash's death. But Ryder is giving him that look again of like, see, you're so short-sighted. You could kill me right now, and although it would result in her death, there'd be no more deaths. But if you don't kill me, I will figure out how to get out of the clutches of these police officers. And he just can't do it, though. He can't shoot him. And so Ryder does what he does best.
And he lets his foot off the brake, and poor Jennifer Jason Leigh is pulled apart. Again, we don't see it.
Nope.
But it's one of those moments that is so gruesome just to even think about. And I was telling Justine yesterday, one of my earliest like horror movie memories was seeing this when I'm like 5, 6 years old. Probably not supposed to see it, but I was hanging out with some older kids while my mom was with her friends, type of thing, like her friends' kids, and they were watching it, and I, for years, never knew what the movie was. I just had this memory of the girl connected to the trucks, and it wasn't until, like, I think probably high school when I rewatched this movie that I was like, this is it. This is the movie I saw when I was, like, 5 years old.
When I was like a little baby.
I should not have seen that scene, because it definitely haunted me for years.
Terrifying, yes. This is also this iconic scene. This is like a top 100 scary movie moment kind of scenes. It's been in countdowns from Bravo,
Chiller.
Yeah, like it's an iconic scene, and it should resonate with any audience.
Yeah, 'cause it's terrible.
It's terrible. It's torture. No one wants to be cut in half or torn in half.
Yeah, it's very like Braveheart.
Yes. Again, like we didn't see the dick get cut, but we know it happened. Freedom. Okay, so he gets apprehended though. Ryder gets taken into custody, but our character Jim knows good and damn sure that that's not going to last. Even during the interrogation with the police with Ryder, he's like not giving them anything. They're telling Jim, like, we don't know who he is. He doesn't have any identification. Can't find him in the fingerprint system. He's not telling us anything during his interviews. He just smirks at us. And
this guy doesn't exist, almost.
Yeah.
They cannot figure out who he is.
He's just a terrible
And that kind of
Grim
plays
Reaper.
with that, like, Grim Reaper, Phantom in the Night kind of vibe.
No one knows who he is, but he's up to no good.
And if you encounter him, you're probably not going to survive.
So they do, though, tell Jim we're going to have to transport him. He's going to have to go back to the big city. And Jim's like, every fiber in his being knows that that's not really going to
He's like, he's
take
going
place.
to get away.
And so Estridge, the captain that he's kind of been talking to this whole time, Jim is like, he's supposed to escort him home. But Jim ends up getting his gun and telling him, no, I'm taking your truck because I know this isn't going to turn out well.
I've got to kill him because if
I'm
I
the only
don't,
one.
He's going to find me. He's going to keep coming after me until I do.
Yeah.
I also got to avenge the girl that I knew for a day and a half.
Yep, but she was like real cute. I mean, did you see her? She had big old knockers.
He's like, I know we would have boned that night.
For sure. In fact, that's what I did. I went and I took a shower because I was just trying to get my tank clean and my balls, and
they were a little musky.
I was going to trim it up, do a little bit of manscaping. That's what I had planned in there.
John Ryder is the ultimate cock blocker.
But seriously, I mean, like, she's dead now, so.
I mean, I said I wanted to tear it up. I didn't mean tear
her in half.
Her
That's not what I
up.
meant. I didn't mean, like, literally tear her apart. That's not what I meant. I meant tear her pussy apart. I would have, too. I'd have just torn that shit. I mean, damn.
I mean, damn.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so he ends explaining all of that to Estridge, and he's like, by that time, just like, take my gun, take my car,
like,
go. Okay, got it. But they're star-crossed lovers, Ryder and Jim. They're destined to be together. They have to be each other's ends in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim meets up to the armored van that's supposed to be transporting Ryder, and he shows up just in time because Ryder has blown the door off of that when he's tossing out dead people.
And the bus is just starting to go off the road. Like, he had just, I guess, killed the bus driver and whatnot.
So it's perfect timing. And so he sees that Jim is there, and he's looking through his front windshield.
He jumps
and he
on
does.
top.
Yeah, and this is why we know that, like, Ryder is, in fact, not real man. It's like, how does this real guy just jumps in through
the
freaking Fast and the
front
Furious
window.
9 style, crazy. And what I love, though, is, like, looking up some trivia, finding out that, like, Rutger Hauer did most of these stunts himself, especially all of the road stunts.
Damn,
he did himself.
Rutger.
So he is, like, Ryder Daddy!
Round of applause for
like,
Rutger.
He's hot shit. He's knuckle diarrhea.
That's right.
Okay, so yeah, they're like having one last chase scene / kind of crash through the windshield / shootout with the shotguns. It ends with Jim finally building up the courage / like just gumption to shoot Ryder.
And he does. And he runs him over. He shoots him some more. It's like this big battle to the death that's taking place on the roads of the desert.
It's almost like when you're Mario and you finally get to the big boss, like Koopa, and you just have to keep jumping on him and jumping him. That's kind of like what
you got to do at least 3 times.
At least 3 times. And he's down, he's out, and the movie ends. Their title, the credits scroll, and there's this wonderful sunset that's happening in the desert.
It's all in silhouette. You see Jim smoking a cigarette.
He's kind of leaning up against the truck. You know, he's man. He started off boy, now he's
a man. And he's triumphant. He's gone through his hero's journey.
Yes, he's his quest that he's gone on. He's kind of like a hobbit, but it's a little different.
Except from with a drive away, not a ring.
I'm in a drive away. So there's the end, and we are, Josh, 12 miles?
About 12 miles. Hey, 41 or 38 miles.
Oh, okay. 12 miles till our next changeover, and then we just have a little bit more. So we got like a half hour before we're there.
So, Tommy, I hope you enjoyed that.
Yes.
Yes, I definitely did. Like, do we have time for me to throw in my last thoughts, please? No. I definitely identify with Rutger Hauer character.
Okay, bye, Tommy. We don't want to hear any more
Tommy,
from Tommy.
shut the fuck up, all right?
Or we're going to kick you out right now.
All right. See ya, Tom!
So, bye, Tom.
Woo! He went outside!
We just pushed him out the window. Silly Tommy.
Silly Tommy, he's rolling.
He's rolling.
Oh, he just got run over.
Oh,
bye, Tom Tom.
Bye, Tom. Not our problem.
Hashtag.
So we are going to go on our Talamina drive, and then we'll be back in just a few seconds to tell you all about it.
Faux foliage.
Yes.
Some faux foliage.
Faux foliage.
Bon voyage. Faux foliage.
Bye for a second. And we're back.
Hey there, hey there.
Well, we have just been driving all damn day.
It has been a day of cruising and beautiful, gorgeous, scenic views of trees and leaves and twigs and sticks and Tommy.
Yeah, and Tommy. You know, we are recording this on a Sunday, so it's been the epitome of Sunday driving today.
Yes.
It's been actually just really nice. We've just been cruising, seeing all the fall colors. It's very autumnal around here. The funny thing is, though, our drive down there and back probably was more colorful than up in the mountains on the Talamina Drive. Mainly because, I guess in the higher elevation, all the leaves had fallen off already. So...
But, like, you could look out in the vistas, like in the turnouts, and see, like, the trees, and they would be all orange and yellow and red.
Yeah,
but just, like, the higher parts, the leaves had already fallen.
And we would hit, like, little patches where all of a sudden it was, like, we're surrounded by
bright, colorful.
all the leaves. And then we go a little further, and then they're all gone. You know, It was kind of funny, but it was a fun day. Guys, though, Tommy kept showing up. You know, you heard a few minutes ago, we pushed him out the window.
Yeah, I mean, he rolled away. I saw somebody run him over, but apparently he made it and crawled all the way to the Talamina Drive, scenic drive. We
just kept seeing him. Every time we would go to a scenic turnout, there is Tommy. And he would just wave at us and laugh.
Like, hey!
Hi!
Thought you got rid of me!
We're like, fuck.
Fuck you, Tommy.
Yeah, we're like, you're not nice.
He kept trying to get in the car.
And we said, no, Tommy.
I was like, no, Tommy, that's not going to happen again.
Finally, this big biker cowboy guy came to our rescue and, like, beat him up and threw him over the cliff.
And then he killed him, yeah. And so Tommy is actually dead now.
Oh my god, just look over there on the side of the road.
No, it's Tommy! No! Tommy, down!
Anyway, okay, we passed him.
Okay, bye, Tommy.
He's in our rearview window, or rearview mirror.
You know, something we didn't touch on, though, in the earlier top half of the episode, though, was that this was like episode 70.
Yeah.
Just kind of had a thought. Like
70 episodes.
70 episodes before we finally picked up a hitchhiker.
Pat our backs, everyone.
Like, commitment right there. I think the main thing for me about picking up a hitchhiker has been, like, the thumb. Like, you yourself.
I have a Hitcher
were
thumb.
born with a Hitcher thumb.
I should be a hitchhiker because I do have the best thumb for it.
Yes.
It bends, like, almost all the way back.
He can literally take his thumb and touch his wrist with it.
I can make a little seat for you to sit on.
You can just sit another thumb on top of it.
Sit and spin, you know.
So yeah, so I guess the Hitcher thumb.
Justine always calls it my Hitcher.
Creeps me out, and he'll like try to touch me with it inappropriately. By the way,
that's not
totally
true.
Inappropriately.
Hashtag me too.
Oh gosh. All right, let's get into it. We saw some fall foliage. We picked up a Hitcher. Neither of us got tied up to a truck stop.
Yeah, we didn't stop at any cute cafes or diners. We went through the town, but then we ended up going a different route back. And then it was
another
like
scenic route
we
to
just
go.
didn't pass anything.
No,
it was
until
like,
we got to the interstate.
Yeah, it was kind of like we were in the middle of nowhere, just driving.
Yeah, way
So,
run down.
We had some McDonald's, and we did not find any fingers in our fries.
No, I didn't, and I was a little
Disappointed?
annoyed because here I have gone all day waiting for that finger to be in my fries.
She wanted to pull the finger.
I wanted to pull a finger, but I'm not going to get to. There were no fingers.
Why are we Italian all of a
I don't know.
sudden? Pull the finger.
Pull my finger.
Mamma mia.
I like finger. I think that's just what it is. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just kind of wrap it all up. Let's give our favorite scenes as we watch somebody nearly drive off the road.
Oh my
Sorry,
God,
that was
crazy.
frightening. That just happened.
Yeah, let's just talk about the movie in general. Like, do you want me to start?
Go ahead. We already talked about the movie in general.
Well, we
so just
talked
your
about
favorites.
we talked about the plot.
We talked about it in detail. So
I think overall, well, I guess I'll talk more about that when it gets to our knife rating. My favorite scene, I'm going to go with the one that I talked about earlier that has had the impression on me since I was like 5 years old, which is the pulling apart of Nash or Jennifer Jason Leigh. Yeah, that scene has stayed with me most of my life.
Most of your wife?
Most of my wife. And it's scary. It's filled with such dread and intensity because you almost know there's no way they're going to get out of it. He's in there trying to talk him down, and you know he's talking to a crazy guy that
there's
you
no
can't
reasoning
reason
with insanity,
Yeah.
so he's gonna have to lose his friend. He does have that moment of realization, like she's not gonna make it.
But he tries to do something. You have that moment where he tells him to get the gun, and you think he might do it, but it doesn't work out.
Not yet, no.
Not yet,
He's just not ready to shoot. Not yet.
Not
I'm sorry,
kill.
Nash. Jennifer Jason Leigh. You'll go on to make amazing movies.
Yeah, she's funny in this movie. Her performance is really strange and kind of flat, but I've loved her in everything else, though.
Yeah, she's very gullible. The fact that she does kind of just believe him. I mean, he isn't a bad guy, but her uncle had told her, like, don't let people in, and then when the cops show up, they're like, what were you thinking, girl? Like, so sure, she got a little doe-eyed for some Tommy Howell all up in her fries.
Oh, see Tommy
and
Howell.
her cheeseburger buns.
Oh, up in those buns.
Up in them buns. Okay, my favorite scene, I'm going to go with that opening, that that feeling of relief when he pushes
When you fart.
Ryder out of the
Oh.
door. Yeah, when he farts during that really stressful, intense scene when he's like, "I don't want to die." He just farts,
And that's how he blows him out the door.
that is exactly how he goes. Shoots right
It's
out.
a strangely
It's like this-
comedic moment
Yes.
in an altogether terrifying film.
And there he is, just rolling on the ground. He's kind of like wafting his hand in front of his face because he's like, "That was damn stanky." That far right there. No, but that opening scene, that first like 10, 15 minutes of just pretty much terror. The moment he gets in the car, you're uneasy because you just like, signed up to watch a horror movie. So
And you're on the edge of your seat the whole time.
yes. And you're like, really? Is C. Thomas Howell not going to make it through the first 10 minutes? Who then does the Hitcher pick up next? Like, so when he does throw him out the car, you have that, oh gosh.
He's been thrown.
He's been thrown. But I do that moment of relief, and you get that ever so often in this movie, and it's like you're going a million miles an hour, and then boom, you get this like heavy sigh
And
moment.
they trick you with that false sense of security.
Yes.
Like he has that celebratory moment after, but then 5 minutes later he's
getting
back.
played again.
It reminds me of that old Nickelodeon cartoon that was like the cat came
Yes.
back the very next day.
I thought he was a goner,
but the cat came back the very next day. And it just keeps going on and on.
Going
and
and going.
Rugger Hauer's the cat that just keeps coming back the
Yes.
very next day. Or just, minutes or hours later. But, it's...
But
Yeah.
Alaska.
So, that's a great scene. That's a great opening. It's up there, I think, with some of the best horror openings.
Summer.
Horror.
Summer. Horror. And then I think about like 10 years later, we're going to have another movie that has a iconic opening scene with, the killer and a final somebody or whatever we think. I'm talking about Scream, guys.
Oh
I
my
just
God.
another iconic like opening scene where you're like not sure where it's going because you've got your elite character and they're already in distress.
But they didn't go Scream way with this.
No.
See, Thomas Howell is our sole
Made it through
survivor,
the
our,
whole-
our final boy.
He is sole survival, final boy.
He ends a final man, though.
Oh, damn. Yeah, he's like a damn daddy by the end of it. He's done shot him up, run him over. He's witnessed so many gruesome, horrific things.
I would say I like this movie a lot. The characters make some funny decisions, specifically C. Thomas Howell.
Yes.
With, how... Just the mistakes he makes. Like I said, if you woke up and everyone was dead, wouldn't you kind of get back in your... I immediately
What
would
would
think
you
that.
do?
Yeah, I wouldn't, be on the run the whole time. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be taking guns from police officers.
I'd constantly be trying to prove my innocence, not trying to get the killer, but yet talking to the cops and be like, "No, you gotta believe me. I'm innocent. I'm acting not like an innocent person. I did just abduct police officers and use their guns."
The screenplay relies, or the screenwriter relies on just these crazy decisions that the character makes. And he is supposed to be a character that's like, "Oh, shucks, I'm just taking this car cross country." And all of a sudden he's pulling, guns away from cops and holding them hostage.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff's a little laughable, but yeah.
He's pushed to the limit, and he is making some pretty irresponsible choices.
And I,
Yes.
And I love the mixture of the Western and almost like a ghost story or like a Phantom, Grim Reaper type story. Just this man coming through killing everything in sight.
He can't trust the cops to be able to eliminate John Ryder. He knows he's going to have to do it himself.
And I'm surprised this director didn't make more movies, only because it is so tight. It's an hour 37, I think, minutes. And
Yeah, it was frightening. It's got iconic scenes in it.
has some really scary scenes. Some kind of silly stuff, too, like I said.
Yeah.
And then you get these crazy action beats with the helicopters flying
Oh my God, that
around,
chase
shooting.
scene
And
was minutes long.
It's really fun. It's a fun movie. I haven't seen the remake from...
Oh, it's
what?
2007, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I haven't watched it either. What's funny is that this movie itself was a little hard to come by if you didn't already own it on maybe VHS or DVD. Trying to find it on Amazon is nah.
Yeah, it's almost not on any platform except from the Cinemax app.
Yes.
We both had to get Cinemax.
I mean, I
for-
felt like 6th grade ingesting dirty, like, inside.
Staying up late watching Skin
yes.
Acts.
Checking out all the softcore porn and seeing,
Learning
like,
a little bit about yourself.
seeing some hot men ass, like men asses.
Never a little fruit basket, but you
No,
did.
you never got sack on
From
like
behind or
cinema.
anything, yeah.
No. That was far too much. No,
too graphic.
you didn't even get like lips on a lady, if you know what I mean.
You just got hair.
You got bush, yes, and you'd get full on boobies, and everybody's booties was hanging out, but that's it. You didn't get no genitalia.
It was just BBA, bush, boobs, and ass. I'm just kidding.
Baby, BBB, bush, boobs, and butt.
Yeah, BBB.
BBB.
3 B's. Triple B.
Triple B, baby, BBB.
So yeah, with that said, I'm just gonna go solid 3 knives.
Okay.
Out of 5, 3 knives.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that. 3 knives for me too. Great. I mean, Rutger Hauer is a really awesome villain. So
He's
you've
up
got
there.
that.
He's like,
right
there's
there.
nothing really redeeming about him. Even those like
No.
moments where he kind of shows a little humanity.
No,
Same
it's almost
time,
more
it's like
maniacal. In
yeah,
that
it's
way.
almost more maniacal, but it's still a really rounded performance in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he's good. I love the
scary.
atmosphere of the movie. The music, it's very moody. It puts you in the
and just
mood for
the
creepy.
different landscape. Most of the terror takes place in broad daylight.
Yeah, and in the desert, and nobody wants to be lost in the desert, so the idea that he's just walking and probably getting real hot and needing a soda pop or a little, like, water,
I need some
getting a
electrolytes.
little parched, and you don't see him eat very much. I mean, he lazily eats a little bit of fries
Yeah,
and finger,
almost eats a finger.
but that's it.
Ruins his appetite.
Yeah, and he's, like, running on fumes by the end of it.
So what was your knife rating?
3.
3. So 3 and 3.
3 and 3.
For the
Beep, beep.
Hitcher, baby.
Baby.
And next month, guys, guess what?
Oh, let's get into episode 71 is going to be fantabulous. We're going Kinderhor, guys.
We're going to Walt Disney World again. It's been a few years.
Yeah, it's been since 2018.
Yeah, 3 years ago was our Haunted Mansion episode.
But we are going to do another Christmas episode, and since it's Disney World, we are
The Nightmare Before Christmas. So excited. This is Halloween.
Boom. Da 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 da. So excited. Yeah, so we're doing
So get ready for a
Nightmare
lot
Before
of
Christmas.
singing and
For sure, it is a little bit of a
laughter.
musical.
maybe a few tears. We'll see.
We do plan to see like Santa Claus when we go to Disney World and Jack Skellington, and
Maybe we'll even see Sally.
we'll definitely see Sally. And we'll hit up some iconic rides, scary rides.
I'm so excited.
But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, episode 70 of The Hitcher.
Yes, and check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're in all the places. Please go give us that 5-star rating and a review on whatever platform you listen on.
Yes, we appreciate it so much.
It helps us out a lot, especially if you listen on Apple or iTunes. Please go rate and review us. It really
check
helps.
us out. We're Scream Queens Podcast on Instagram.
Yep, and we're on screamqueenspodcast.com. You can check us out there. Just come interact with us. We're always talking and making new friends on Instagram and stuff. So
Hell yeah! And if you happen to be in Disney World at the beginning of December, let us know. We'll be there
yes,
too.
We're gonna be there.
All right,
See you
guys. Stay safe.
Bye.